Coming up on AgweekTV, a bridge collapse in the port of Baltimore may delay ag equipment shipping. How will a court's ruling on Dicamba affect the 2024 planting season? After a tough couple of years, the cattle market could be on the upswing. And the next generation prepares to take over the reins of a South Dakota farm. Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Emily Beal. The Baltimore bridge collapse could have a big effect on ag equipment business. On March 26, a container ship lost power and ran into a major bridge in Baltimore, causing the Port of Baltimore to close. The port is known for its importing and exporting of farm machinery. John Schmeiser, COO of the North American Equipment Dealers Association, says the port's closure will likely have an impact on the price of farm machinery due to delays on shortages in the distribution of machinery.
The one thing about this port, it's closer to the heartland of America than any other port, and that's why the manufacturers have relied on it. And a number of our manufacturers also have assembly plants very close proximity to the port.
Schmeiser urges farmers to be proactive this planting season in buying parts and making anticipated equipment repairs due to the port's closure. Soybean farmers were thrown a curveball in February when a federal court banned over-the-top use of Dicamba products for soybeans as well as cotton. I met with some experts to see how the court's decision will affect the 2024 planting season. It's this week's AgWeek cover story.
Dicamba was developed to give another tool in toolbox, and we need that tool.
Stu Letcher is an executive director of the North Dakota Agricultural Association. With planting season on the horizon, he says the court's timing on their decision to vacate the registrations for over-the-use Dicamba products is less than ideal.
Probably couldn't come at a worse time because a lot of the planting and seed decisions have already been made and purchased inputs,
About a week after the court's decision, the EPA came out and issued an existing stocks order.
The existing stocks order, if any of those products has entered the channel of trade, then it can make it to its final destination. So that might mean there's some Ingenia or XtendiMax sitting at a retail level that's already packaged up, has a label attached to it, and that can be sold or purchased by a farmer and for use. Anything that's in a farmer's shed, that can be used as well. Basically, where the distribution stops is towards the manufacturers. So
Joe Eichley, North Dakota State University Extension Weed Specialist, believes there could be enough product for soybean producers to use Dicamba as normal for the 2024 planting season.
But usually this time of year, there's already quite a bit of volume out in the trade channels to distribution and down to retail. And so if that is packaged with a label on it, so in a mini bulk or in a 2.5 gallon jugs, those can still be purchased and then ultimately applied in the field this year.
Farmers have been notified by most of the industry that there will be enough product to do the spraying that needs to be done this year. So that was a big sigh of relief for all of us.
Todd Hanton farms near Goodwin, South Dakota. He doesn't have many weed problems in his soybean acres, so he doesn't use Dicamba. But he is worried this might open the door for more products to be taken off the market.
If they take away Dicamba and then they come after 2,4-D, we're going to be back to products that will take multiple applications and they just won't do the proper job that we need.
From a grower perspective, it's frustrating that the EPA can just come and pull products out of the pipeline.
Brandon Fass farms corn and soybeans and is a dealer of seed and chemical in Mountain Lake, Minnesota. Fast encourages farmers and dealers to do their due diligence to understand these new products they may be using and are putting the right product down at the right time and in the right amounts to continue to control weeds.
Farmers are like chameleons. We're always willing to adapt, but you get to a certain point where you run out of things to switch to. And if we have a lot of mediocre products that are on the marketplace, that is troublesome.
You can read much more in the next AgWeek magazine or at agweek.com. Diversity in managing grasslands is a key to healthy rangeland. That's the principle Dave Alila follows. He ranches east of Newell, South Dakota, raising cattle and sheep. He also has an irrigated hay base. He makes several uses of soil health techniques.
So when we talk about soil health, we talk about rotating your crops and not just having the same crop over and over. But in the rangeland community, plant diversity is tremendously important because each plant supports each other. The grasses hold the soils, the legumes provide nitrogen to the grass, and then you build up from there to feed all your microbiology in the soil.
Residue and rotational grazing are also ways producers are using the soil health principles on grasslands. Alila also says producers with cropland can graze livestock on their stubble to improve soil quality. Up next on AgweekTV, better times could be ahead for cattle producers.
At Vatterstad, we're partnering with North American farmers to create the perfect emergence. We're doing this with new and innovative tillage, planting, and seeding solutions, optimized for the field conditions that you face, and with industry-leading capacities to help you get the job done in short windows of time, so you can maximize yields. Vatterstad, we look forward to growing together.
Spray Advantage is a full-line, full-service dealer with everything you need for fertilizer and chemical applications, like electronics from Microtrack and Raven, pumps by Banjo and John Blue, a full line of poly parts, tanks, and spray tips. We support the equipment we sell with factory-trained service technicians and a well-stocked parts department. It's our commitment to offer you quality products at competitive prices with the best financing options available. Spray Advantage, proudly serving North Dakota and Minnesota.
Integrity, excellence, teamwork. At Titan Machinery, we take care of our team. Whether you are an experienced technician or looking to start your career, Titan has a spot for you. Earn a competitive pay with the potential to make in excess of 6 figures. Service techs, come grow with a company that invests in you. Titan Machinery offers company HSA and 401k contributions, free single healthcare, and a generous tool allowance. Plus, we'll provide all of your uniform and safety gear. Apply today at titanmachinery.com/careers.
There's no easy button, no guarantees, or promises of a good year. This is farming. It's unpredictable and demanding, with long days and sometimes stressful nights. It's weathering the storms and coming out successful. Farming isn't for everyone. We thank those who make it their life, because it is for everyone.
It was October 1st, 2009. We needed some machinery for the farm. We decided to see if we could become a dealer, and that's kind of grown into what it's been today.
We offer basically anything short line. Seed tenders, fertilizer spreaders, sprayers. We can really set ourselves apart by the knowledge we have in those things, by the amount of units we have on hand at all times.
I just have a passion for helping people, getting to know people. It just becomes a lot of fun.
Cattle producers have been hit with tough times over the past couple of years, especially droughts across South Dakota. But now, as Ariana Schumacher reports, the markets are starting to look up for producers.
With cattle numbers down across the state of South Dakota, buyers and sellers are seeing market prices at the highest they've been since 2014.
Some of the highest prices that we've ever seen in the cattle industry are going on right now.
On March 29th, Fort Pierre Livestock Auction had a sale of around 4,500 feeder cattle.
With this time of the year, it would be common to probably have anywhere from 5,500 to 7,000. So those numbers do reflect the amount of cattle that have either been pulled ahead with the market we're seeing, or that just flat aren't out there.
There are almost 300,000 fewer head of cattle in South Dakota than there were 5 years ago.
That makes a big difference. You know, we're seeing a lot less cattle. We're seeing more heifers that were open or lost calves, heifers that are calves that are kept for replacements, not as many being bred, and those are going into the feedlots, and that's why the on-feed report is higher, as well as the higher markets have push those cattle into the feedlots.
These higher prices are predicted to stay for a while.
I would say the next couple, 2 or 3 years, we'll be in good shape unless we have too many imports permitted to come in.
But once the feeder cattle are purchased, they have to be fed until they can be sold into the fat cattle market.
But they also are realizing a shortage in their fat cattle. And so with these prices, although it does seem good to the producer to see higher prices, the ones feeding them still got to make the money.
This should not hurt consumer beef prices.
Well, you equate that back to another 10 or 20 cents across the counter. That's a pretty small move to actually make a very substantial mark in a producer's pocket, $10 to $20 a hundred. That's huge, but you got to remember that is only 10 to 20 cents a pound.
In Fort Pierre, this is Ariana Schumacher for AgWeek.
The next special grass feeder replacement heifer and weigh-up sale at Fort Pierre Livestock is April 12th. Producers across central South Dakota were getting their small grain crops in the ground before the late March snowstorm swept across the state. Shane Cremy planted this oat field just days before the snow. He was able to get all his oats in the ground before the 2 snowstorms hit, and the cold conditions should not harm his crops.
I don't think the oats had sprouted, which is probably a good thing without the snow cover. So it did get down to probably 5 degrees, a little colder with the wind chill. So it would have absolutely affected if it would have sprouted. I'm not sure it would have survived, but I think we're probably all right since it didn't and there wasn't quite enough moisture on top of the ground to get it going.
Further east in Mount Vernon, South Dakota, Jim Lorang planted 600 acres of oats a couple weeks before the storms hit, in conditions that were drier than normal. The storms in his area contained a mixture of snow and rain.
We had a lot of water holes that we normally don't go through this time of year. We went right through them and planted everything. And so this moisture will be good. Hopefully don't drown it out, but if it does, that'll be all right too, I guess.
Cremy said the storms in his area should delay planting row crops, but Lorang said in Mount Vernon, he hopes to be back in the fields around April 15th. Ahead on AgweekTV, our Young Farmer and Rancher series continues with a family working to bring in the next generation of brothers.
You got salty soils? We can help. Let's talk.
Looking to add non-GMO conventional and organic soybeans to your rotation this year? Soyco International out of Gary, Minnesota is looking for new farmer contracts for the 2023 season. They have proven marketing strategies, partnered with local agronomy expertise to work alongside and provide the certified seeds needed for their contract growers. Soyco International is offering premium prices to boost your operation's bottom line. Reach out to Sean Young today at 218-350-3863 to answer any questions.
Attention farmers, increase your revenue and prevent compaction from squeezing your profits with PTG's Central Tire Inflation System, now offered at OK Tire and Service. All controlled from the tips of your fingers, ensuring increased yield and improved fuel economy by adjusting your tire pressure within minutes. You are ensuring the best performance from your tractor on the field and off the field, compatible with any radial tire. Call the OK Tire team today or visit oktireinc.com to learn more.
When it comes to grain storage and handling solutions, one call does it all. Gateway Building Systems is one of the largest Brock bin dealers in the U.S. Our expert team is dedicated to creating a customized plan for your future success. Expanding your operation has never been easier with our range of Brock solid bins, grain dryers, conveyors, and more. As your trusted partner, we are committed to serving the needs of farmers. Take the first step toward success and call Gateway Building Systems today.
Built in North Dakota and delivered across the Midwest, every Pinky home is a custom home, designed for your family, built by ours. And with our on-site lumberyard and generations of experience, we can help build the home of your dreams without breaking your budget. Build something that lasts. Build with Pinky Homes. Get to know us and see all of your customization options at pinkyhomes.com.
Do you have nutrient deficiency issues? We can help. Let's talk. AgWeek Weather is sponsored by Bremer Bank. Connect with a banker today at bremer.com.
As spring begins, will the weather be favorable? Here's John with our AgroWeather outlook.
It is a relatively quiet and fairly pleasant April weather pattern setting up for much of the Middle West. Kind of call it April nice. Chance to enjoy some early spring conditions across the northern plains and most of the upper Midwest. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean there's not going to be any rain or anything like that. Rain is not necessarily a bad thing either, obviously, this time of year. I'll show you where the range will be, but mostly in the Middle West and Great Plains, this is going to be of the steady rain, not of the storm type rain. So that's a little bit of a difference. And although there are some areas of the upper Midwest Great Plains that are dry, the northern plains and the western part of the upper Midwest, Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, Minnesota, North Dakota. These areas do have patches where soil is a little bit dry. At the present time, I'm just not seeing that kind of absolute absence of precipitation that would lead us into springtime drought. That's not to say there won't be drought this year, just means I don't see it really becoming worsening over the course of the next couple of weeks. I've got a lot of wavy lines on here. The jet stream pattern, you got the subtropical jet stream coming around the globe here across the south. The polar jet splits, and it's split over most of North America going into the beginning of the week here. And that split flow is yielding relatively weak weather patterns. We have this storm that's in retreat this weekend, dumping some heavy snow in New England. As that moves away, the pattern goes relatively quiet. Temperatures are fairly mild in the Great Plains. A little bit of cool weather in the Great Lakes in the wake of that slow-moving weather system that brought snow to places like Wisconsin and Michigan last week. But that cold weather will gradually exit. In the Great Plains in particular, we'll start seeing some warm air building up. And I'm guessing there's going to be some significant snow melting in the Rockies. Maybe not the highest elevations, but we are seeing the area of cold weather beginning to shrink as we go through the week. Not a lot of stormy weather. You look for southwest to northeast flow in the jet stream. That's where low pressure systems tend to have a tendency to gather moisture and to gain strength. And the only place we're seeing that really is off the coasts, off the west coast and off the east coast. And in the west coast, it's mostly in the northwest. As we move toward the second week of the forecast period, still dealing with split flow, fairly lofty ridge pattern in the middle of the country. I think that'll pull as we get into the middle of April, a lot of 80s and 90s up into the southern plains and keep the weather from being terribly cold over most of the upper Midwest northern plains region. Precipitation, here's the storm track. This may not be that excessive, but there will be rain and storms early in the week from Texas up through the mid-south and on up into New England. Some of that will eventually turn into snow. Pacific Northwest northern areas. The second week, a fair amount of dry weather with any rainfall being fairly light, and the main storm track mostly out in the Atlantic.
Farming is more than a career. It's a lifestyle, a calling, and a badge of honor. That's why it's important to have a banking partner who doesn't just understand the farming industry, they understand your farm. At Bremer Bank, we've spent more than 80 years working side by side with farmers like you to help you invest in and grow your operation. Season after season, from one generation to the next.
There's no easy button, no guarantees, or promises of a good year. This is farming. It's unpredictable and demanding, with long days and sometimes stressful nights. It's weathering the storms and coming out successful. Farming isn't for everyone. We thank those who make it their life, because it is for everyone.
Built in North Dakota and delivered across the Midwest, every Pinky home is a custom home, designed for your family, built by ours. And with our on-site lumberyard and generations of experience, we can help build the home of your dreams without breaking your budget. Build something that lasts. Build with Pinky Homes. Get to know us and see all of your customization options at pinkyhomes.com.
Power Rich Fertilizer is a leading provider of macro and micronutrient fertilizers customized for you. Our products, including granular and liquid foliars, are designed to enhance your crop's yield and disease resistance. We're here to help you get the most out of your crop with our incredible products. To learn more, call Steve Jerolimic at 701-799-2672. Discover the power-rich difference. Contact us today.
At Vatterstad, we're partnering with North American farmers to create the perfect emergence. We're doing this with new and innovative tillage, planting, and seeding solutions, optimized for the field conditions that you face, and with industry-leading capacities to help you get the job done in short windows of time, so you can maximize yields. Vatterstad, we look forward to growing together.
AgWeek's Young Farmer and Rancher series is brought to you by Bremer Bank.
Our Young Farmer and Rancher series continues this week with a family taking their farm into the next generation. Kennedy Tesh visited them in Ethan, South Dakota.
We dream every day of this is kind of what we want. This is how we're going to get there.
Jake Storm, his wife Sydney, and his younger brothers Corey and Luke are working to make the dream of taking over their parents' farm a reality. Jake graduated from college in 2021. He worked for CHS for a couple of years and now is back on the farm full-time. But he says it's not without risk.
The weather, the market, all that kind of stuff. As a young farmer coming back, it's a lot to get started. I got a lot on the line right now trying to get started. So that is, people always say it's $1 million rain. Well, for a young farmer, it's, that rain is a big deal in the crop side of things, of trying to get back and trying to get going, because it is. There's risk involved in being a young guy trying to put it all on the line, and we hope it pays off at the end of the year.
Jake's parents, Ryan and Amy Storm, married right after college a generation ago and returned to his parents' family farm to work and raise their family.
It's where he grew up and where Grandma and Grandpa lived originally, and of course his folks lived there, and now us, and hopefully the next crew is coming along.
The next generation.
Yeah. The Storms raise hogs and some cattle, and raise corn and soybeans. Their two youngest boys are still in school, but their parents say whether it's finances, repairing equipment, or caring for livestock, each son already has a different role on the farm.
They love the farm, right? But they all seem to have a little niche, a little different niche on what part of the farm that they like the best. Right.
But no matter what the job calls for, the Storms say they're first and foremost family, and the most important thing is open communication.
Open honesty about it and being able to hear it and not blow our top about it, and figuring out how we can work together with it, because that's the goal. We want to work together. We want to make this farm work, and we want to make it be successful and still have Christmas dinner together too.
Near Ethan, South Dakota, this is Kennedy Tesh for AgWeek.
Jake and Sydney plan to expand the hog operation with a 2,400 head finishing barn. His brother Corey is a freshman at SDSU studying animal science. Youngest brother Luke is active in FFA in high school and helps out on the farm whenever he can. Up next on AgweekTV TV, young people learn about opportunities in the ag industry.
When it comes to grain storage and handling solutions, one call does it all. Gateway Building Systems is one of the largest Brock bin dealers in the U.S. Our expert team is dedicated to creating a customized plan for your future success. Expanding your operation has never been easier with our range of Brock solid bins, grain dryers, conveyors, and more. As your trusted partner, we are committed to serving the needs of farmers. Take the first step toward success and call Gateway Building Systems today.
Spray Advantage is a full-line, full-service dealer with everything you need for fertilizer and chemical applications, like electronics from Microtrack and Raven, pumps by Banjo and John Blue, a full line of poly parts, tanks, and spray tips. We support the equipment we sell with factory-trained service technicians and a well-stocked parts department. It's our commitment to offer you quality products at competitive prices with the best financing options available. Spray Advantage, proudly serving North Dakota and Minnesota.
Attention farmers, increase your revenue and prevent compaction from squeezing your profits with PTG's Central Tire Inflation System, now offered at OK Tire and Service. All controlled from the tips of your fingers, ensuring increased yield and improved fuel economy by adjusting your tire pressure within minutes. You are ensuring the best performance from your tractor on the field and off the field, compatible with any radial tire. Call the OK Tire team today or visit oktireinc.com to learn more.
Integrity, excellence, teamwork. At Titan Machinery, we take care of our team. Whether you are an experienced technician or looking to start your career, Titan has a spot for you. Earn a competitive pay with the potential to make in excess of 6 figures. Service techs, come grow with a company that invests in you. Titan Machinery offers company HSA and 401k contributions, free single healthcare, and a generous tool allowance. Plus, we'll provide all of your uniform and safety gear. Apply today at titanmachinery.com/careers.
Farming is more than a career. It's a lifestyle, a calling, and a badge of honor. That's why it's important to have a banking partner who doesn't just understand the farming industry, they understand your farm. At Bremer Bank, we've spent more than 80 years working side by side with farmers like you to help you invest in and grow your operation. Season after season, from one generation to the next.
Even in the heart of farm country, it might surprise you how many kids don't know much about farming or have even been to a farm. As Jenny Schlecht reports, a teacher in Bismarck, North Dakota is working to teach students about opportunities in ag.
So a lot of my students, they maybe have like a grandparent or an aunt or uncle or somebody who farms, but they don't necessarily live on a farm or do that themselves.
So, Bismarck Ag teacher Samantha Schmoker-Mack is bringing some of her students on a field trip to Napoleon, North Dakota to get an inside look at the cattle industry. She wants them to learn about the wide variety of jobs in ag.
Sometimes we tend to think of agriculture as, farmer or rancher, and it's always a better experience for them to be able to see that and meet people who are doing it than just sitting in a classroom learning about it.
Paul Bitz and his family run Napoleon Livestock, one of the larger sale barns in the state. He says he's happy to help teach students about all the opportunities in ag.
In HR, to banking, to nutrition, to vet work, to vet tech, there's a lot of really great industries out there, and we need people for it. And sometimes bringing somebody out that hasn't had a lot of experience in it is a thing that ignites them to go down a career path that will ultimately add to agriculture.
Ag classes are popular in Bismarck. About 300 high schoolers take them. Kason Endrud, a junior at Bismarck Century High School, grew up with closer connections to agriculture than he feels he has now. He has immense respect for the industry.
Main things that I've gotten out of today is how much hard work and determination it really takes these farmers and ranchers, and I don't think they get a lot of credit from a lot of people. They don't really understand about everything and where everything comes from.
In Napoleon, North Dakota, this is Jenny Schlecht for AgWeek.
Schmoker-Mack said they like to expand the ag program, but like many schools, are facing a shortage of ag teachers. Stories you'll only see on AgWeek.com and in AgWeek magazine this week. The potato industry is fighting the idea of classifying potatoes as a grain, and we look at changes to hemp laws in South Dakota. We appreciate you watching AgWeek TV. Remember to check us out daily on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to keep up on all your ag news. Have a wonderful week, everyone.